This is Bilbao. This is the meeting point. And this is Round the Table. Broadcasting not only to Bilbao, but around the world. Hello and welcome to Round the Table from the meeting point in Bilbao. And in a packed programme today, we've got some very interesting phrasal verbs, a few pronunciation problems, and a quick game of What's the Difference? But first, we have an apology to make. In the previous two episodes, we have shown an aerial shot of the hanging bridge of Bizkaia, accompanied by the statement, "This is Bilbao." It has been brought to our attention that this is not in fact Bilbao. We apologise for any distress this may have caused and would like to make it clear that this bridge is not Bilbao, unless of course Athletic win the cup. Furthermore, in a previous episode we commented on the similarity between the words lawyer and liar. We would like to state that this resemblance is only one of pronunciation. We may have given the impression that we thought that half the world's lawyers are liars, but in fact it is clear that half the world's lawyers are not liars. That's quite clear, I think.
It is very clear. So, what's the topic of the week then, Richard?
The topic we've been discussing this week has been noise.
So, what kind of noises have you been discussing then?
Well, we discussed a lot of things about loud music in public places and how some people love to share their music. Like that place over the park there where those people have their barbecues at the weekend.
Yeah.
They're quite loud, aren't they?
Very loud. Very loud.
They insist on taking their music systems. And people who listen to music on the underground.
Yeah.
And not just listen to music, but some people play like games like Candy Crush on their phones and they leave the sound on. Yeah. So it's making that beep, 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 beep noise all the way, and it drives you crazy when you're traveling.
I found that in the beach as well, like people have the music on. And it's really annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, some people.
Maybe that's old age.
It might be an old age thing, because I remember doing it when I was young. I did go around with some loud music. I remember doing that and an old man telling us to turn the music off.
Yeah.
I remember it well when I was on holiday. An old man we were in a shop with the music on full blast. Full blast, that's a good expression, isn't it? Full blast, that means at top volume.
I've never done that. I don't think I've never had my music for everybody to share.
So we were talking about that, the fact that as you get older you don't like those loud places. When you're young you go to bars where there's lots of loud music.
Yeah.
And you sort of go off that after a time, don't you?
Yeah.
When we're talking about rock concerts, people said if you go to rock concerts, you still expect it to be loud.
Yeah.
You can either not go to rock concerts anymore, but if you do continue, you expect some volume.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't be right otherwise.
Absolutely.
And we were also talking about noisy neighbours.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, I wasn't talking about noisy neighbours because our neighbours are wonderful. They never make any noise.
Well, it's not their fault. I think it's the buildings.
The buildings have very thin walls.
Yeah.
And we were also talking about the general background noise in the city. Because there is a lot of noise, and usually when we're doing this recording, we have to do it on a Saturday morning when thankfully the road outside is fairly quiet.
But did you discuss the electric cars? Because they're really quiet.
No, we didn't. We didn't discuss that, no.
Oh, because they're really quiet, and I think it's dangerous, but just because people are looking at their phones and they can hear them.
Well, aren't they going to make the electric cars with a realistic noise so you can hear them coming up behind you?
How's that is that?
Well, we're just I think it's because people are accustomed to using their ears when, looking for traffic. I sometimes cross the road and listen for sounds without really looking properly.
Well,
So maybe we're just accustomed to noisy cars. But if we were accustomed to silent cars, maybe we'd use our eyes a bit more when crossing a road, for example.
I think the problem is that people are looking at their devices.
Yeah. Another thing we were talking about related to cars was pedestrian precincts. So we get rid of the traffic.
Oh, yeah.
And it actually makes the place noisier because all of the bars then put the seats outside and they have the terraces.
Yeah.
And like in, Ledesma?
Yeah.
Ledesma. Like that's a really noisy place to live.
Yeah.
And before, when they had cars driving up there, it was actually quieter.
Yeah. So you mean people are noisier than cars then, yeah?
People are noisier than cars. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And apparently, in London, in the Victorian age, in the 19th century, it was very loud. Apparently, because you had the noise of horses, and apparently, when you've got lots of horses with iron horseshoes on a stone road, apparently they made a lot of noise.
Yeah.
And London was a very noisy place, as I guess all cities were. But you imagine horses being a quiet form of transport.
Yeah.
I guess when they're walking around in a field, they're quite silent.
Yeah.
But on a hard road surface in a city, they're quite noisy, apparently.
And does that count like noise pollution? That all those noises?
Yeah. That's another thing we were talking about, was the effect of noise, the physical damage that loud noises can do to your ears. But then there's the psychological damage as well of constantly having noise and how it affects you. Your relaxation and things like that.
Yeah.
And the need to get away from cities and go out into the country. And then we got onto the relaxing noises. So we were talking about bird song, for example.
Yeah.
And how nice is the sound of birds. Especially some birds have very nice songs that they sing.
Not crows. So.
Not crows, no.
Crows, sorry.
No, all the crows and the jackdaws and all that family, they're called corvids. Yeah, they got awful voices, haven't they?
Yeah.
But actually, you can train them. If you get a crow as a baby, they learn to speak like parrots do. They can imitate voices. Yeah. But in the wild, they just go, ah, make awful noises like that. I'll put on some crow sound effects in the background, I think. That first one was me. But birdsong in general is quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
What about some other pleasant noises then?
What about the waves? People like listening to the sound of the waves.
Yeah. People often say when they're on holiday and if they're near the coast, you can sleep with the window open because they like the sound of the waves lapping on the shore. They often use this verb, lapping, which is very odd. Because lap, normally, as a verb, is when a dog is drinking water.
Oh, yeah.
You know how dogs drink water. They lap. And they use that verb as well, when the waves are lapping on the shore. Another one they use is pounding. In a storm, the waves are pounding on the rocks. It's a very specific verb that people use. The waves are pounding on the rocks, but they're lapping on the shore.
Nice. Yeah. What about cities? You remember we had this city with forest noises?
Oh, yeah. That's quite good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very relaxing, yeah. But that was a jungle. We had a jungle CD.
Oh, yeah.
Jungles are not so relaxing because even though there's nice birdsong, occasionally there's some screaming monkey somewhere.
I don't think we had that, but I see what you mean.
But if there's a river is nice.
Yeah.
A babbling brook. There's another strange verb. A brook is like a little stream, river. And they babble when the waves are going over the stones. They always use the verb babble, babbling brook. Normally babble is talking incoherently.
Okay.
When somebody's got a fever, for example, and they're talking but you can't understand what they're saying, they're babbling.
Oh, yeah.
Might be related to the Tower of Babel in the Bible.
Oh,
Maybe. Yeah. So there's some interesting sounds. Yeah.
very good. Can you think of any other pleasant noises?
Yeah, like nature noises in general, like the wind in the trees, especially if it's a breeze, not so much a storm,
Yeah.
but gentle breezes, the water flowing, birds singing, that kind of thing is generally seen as quite pleasant. Maybe sheep in the distance. Bleating, that is the verb. That's what sheep do. They bleat. Very specific verb for sheep noise. They say ba.
This is be in Spanish.
Oh yeah. Animal noises are quite different in different languages.
Yeah, that's funny.
Because English dogs go woof woof, or sometimes bow wow.
Wow, wow.
What?
Wow, wow.
Wow wow. That's a Spanish dog, is it? They don't go buh. They don't have plosives. Bow wow. And dogs around the world have lots of different noises they make. I looked into it once. And somewhere like in Korea or somewhere like that, they make a really stupid noise like fnaf fnaf or something like that. I don't know what they're hearing. But cats are universal. All cats in the world go meow. Different spellings.
Yeah.
Not always the same spelling, but everyone hears the same thing from cats.
Yeah.
So cats meow, and they purr as well. P-U-R-R, purr is the noise that cats make when they're happy. That happy cat noise.
Yeah. So what other verbs do you have for animal noises then?
Oh, there are lots. And, dogs, there are like 3 or 4 dog noises. There is a bark.
Bark, yeah.
That's the loud noise they make. And then there's a growl that they make when they're angry. And also their snarl, but I'm not sure if that's the noise because they have to show their teeth when they're snarling.
Yeah.
So it's when they're growling, but they show their teeth when they're going to attack you or something. And there's also yap, but that has to be a very small dog. You know the little dogs that go really annoying things, yappy little dogs. So they yap. There's also whine as well. Whine with an H in it.
Oh, okay.
W-H-I-N-E. Not W-I-N-E, because they sound exactly the same. At least for English speakers. If you go to Scotland, they'll say whine, and you'll hear the H.
Okay.
But in England, you don't hear the H. So whine is also used for complaining. Oh, I'll explain what it is. You know, if your dog is left at home and the owners go out and the dog is all lonely and he's looking out the window.
Yeah.
Going,
with that face.
do you like my animal impersonations today? That's a whine. So you can use it for people when they're complaining. You say, stop whining. The children are always whining.
Yeah.
As we used to say, we always had a little wine with every meal. Is that all we get? Yeah, that's a little play on words there.
Very good, very good.
And so you've got barking and growling. Then you've got words like roar, which is like a lion noise, if you imagine a lion making a lot of noise.
Sounds like that, doesn't it? Roar.
Yes, most of them are onomatopoeic. Yes. And then you've got things like grunt. Grunt is like a pig noise, that kind of noise. That's a grunt. And you get lots of those guttural noises, grunting and growling and things like that. Are down in the throat, aren't they? Those kind of things. And then you can also use a lot of animal noises in sort of more metaphorical, abstract ways. So you might see animal noises a lot if you're reading literature. And they're used to describe the way people talk.
Yeah.
So if a very angry man comes into the room he says, what are you doing here? He barked, or something like that. So they use bark and growl and grunt for the way people speak.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because they resemble animals. And roar, of course, has other uses. You can have the roar of the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine being up at San Mamés and you're outside the stadium, but you hear a goal has just been scored.
Yeah.
That noise of the crowd is the roar of the crowd. And they also use it for motorbikes and things like that, cars and engines, the roar of engines.
Yeah, yeah.
So lots of those animal noises can be used for other things.
What about when your stomach is a bit noisy? What verb do you use for
growl.
that?
You can use growl. Normally, you say stomachs rumble.
Oh, yeah.
When you're hungry or when you're trying to do a podcast recording and you've just had your breakfast and you're trying to drink a cup of tea, your stomach rumbles.
Yeah.
Now that rumble is also the same as thunder in the distance.
Okay.
Normally you have a clap of thunder when it's right above you.
Yeah.
But when it's like the other side of the mountains in the distance, it's the rumble of thunder.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can have a rumbling stomach as well. But sometimes it growls because it makes like a noise of an animal.
Yeah. Lots of interesting vocabulary here.
There's a lot of noise vocabulary. Yeah. There's a huge collection of words. Yeah. Another pleasant one, crackle. The crackle of a log fire.
Oh.
So when you have a fire in your house and the logs, there's like little tiny explosions in the wood.
Yeah.
The crackle of a log fire.
Very nice. Very nice.
Nice noises, yeah.
Okay, very good, very good.
So let's have a look at a couple of phrasal verbs, shall we?
Yeah.
So phrasal verbs that are kind of connected to noises. Put up with is my favourite phrasal verb, which of course means...
Tolerate.
Tolerate is correct. Put up with means tolerate, as in I can't put up with my noisy neighbours. Blare out is... I don't think you ever see blare without out. I think it always comes with out. And it's only really used for, like we were saying, people sharing loud music, that kind of thing. Yeah. Those people who have the barbecues in the park there, they always have their music blaring out. So it's going to be music, radio, television, those kind of things. Mm-hmm. They had their radio blaring out. Drown out. So normally drown is when you die in water.
Yeah.
Is drown. But to drown something out is when you're trying to speak, but there's a volume, there's other music or something that's much louder. And you can't hear the other person speaking because the other noise is more dominant, say.
Yeah.
So you get drowned out and we can't hear something. And there's pipe down, which is a very strange phrasal verb because I don't know if pipe really exists as a verb, really, as in a way of speaking. But people say pipe down, and it means the same as shut up.
Sarah.
Yeah, stop speaking so loudly. So pipe down and shut up are quite similar.
Is that colloquial? Well, all of them are.
Yeah,
okay,
phrasal verbs are generally quite colloquial, aren't they? Right, okay, so that's some phrasal verbs. Let's look at the pronunciation problems that have appeared this week. So the first one was Polish. People from Poland are Polish.
Yeah.
Not the same as polish. Polish is making the table shiny.
Yeah. Or your shoes, yeah.
Or your shoes. You can polish your shoes, yeah. But the people from Poland are Polish. And then you have the word police.
Yeah.
Police. So Polish police. This is a very difficult thing to say. So the first part is po, not po. So it's Polish. Oh. Then you got I as a short one with a sh on the end. But police, you got the stress is moving to the second part. So the first syllable is p, like a schwa, it's reduced down. And then the second part is lis. So Polish and police, the only things they have in common are the P at the beginning and the L in the middle. The other parts are quite different. So Polish police, that's something for people to practice. Something for people to practice. Lots of alliteration today.
Yeah.
Two other words that are very similar, season and session. So season, so it starts with a s, long E sound and then a Z in the middle, season. Yeah, season. But session, so se has the E sound and then a sh. But the ending parts are the same. The O-N and the I-O-N are very similar. Season, session. Two more that sounded very similar this week, which I think are quite different. Caused, the past tense of cause, caused, and cost. So you've got the longer sound in cause. It's got the two dots on it, cause.
Yeah.
Then the S is pronounced more like a Z. It's a voiced consonant, Z. And because of that, the D then sounds like a D, caused, and cost.
Well, it's a few things here. We don't know here the long and short vowels, the Z sound, and the D. So, yeah, I can see why people can hear the difference.
Well, even if, it's just one syllable word.
Yeah.
But you can see how many mistakes can be made in one syllable.
Yeah.
So, it's quite complicated, really. And then the final one was deaf and death.
Oh, yeah.
Deaf and death.
Yeah.
Death as in the noun from dead. Because there's dead as well. I should put dead in there.
Yeah.
So dead with a D on the end.
Yeah.
Then there's death with a F on the end.
Yeah.
And there's deaf with a F on the end.
Yeah. Oh, very interesting.
Yeah, complicated pronunciation this week. Yeah. Just a few little, quite simple little words, but a lot is happening in little words.
Yeah.
Shall we play What's the Difference then?
Yeah.
Okay, so one word that often, this pair often confused because people often use the wrong word. And it's one of those things where there's two words in English and one word in Spanish. So the difference between insulate and isolate. So if your house is insulated, it's not the same as your house being isolated.
It's not the same, no.
So you're going to have a go at explaining.
Well, I think if it's insulated, you can hear your neighbors. And if it's isolated, it's in the mountains somewhere, no?
Yeah.
And
if you're isolated, you have no neighbours to hear.
Yeah.
So insulation is for two reasons. It's either for sound or for temperatures.
Okay, yeah.
Because sometimes you have double glazing.
Yes.
If you live near a road, you have double glazing on your windows to reduce the noise.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, they have double glazing because it's warmer.
Yeah.
So insulate is to reduce the transfer of noise and heat. And isolate means isolated is with no neighbours in a remote place. And then we were talking loud voices and high voices, because people often say that somebody was talking in a high voice. But what they mean is a loud voice. It's a high volume, but a loud voice. So a loud voice. Who has a loud voice? I bet Pavarotti, he had a loud voice. Especially when he was singing to the huge auditorium and everybody has to hear. Yeah, I won't do my Pavarotti impersonation. But a high voice would be Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Or Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
In fact, Michael Jackson and Mickey Mouse, they were very similar.
No, are they?
Maybe it was the same person. Anyway, that's a high voice. And the opposite of loud is quiet. And the opposite of high
It's low.
is low. That's correct. Low. Low voice. And then we have prepositions that come with the verb here. If you've heard of something, or heard about something, or heard from, probably with someone. So if I said, have you heard of Michael Jackson? You would say, of course, he's that famous singer. Yeah. So heard of only means, do you know of the existence of?
Okay.
Have you heard this name before? Are you aware that this person exists? If I say, have you heard about Michael Jackson? You would suppose that I have some news. Yeah, something has happened. That I'm going to tell you a story about something that's happened recently. If I said, have you heard from Michael Jackson?
Oh, he's my mate.
Yeah, he's your mate and you're waiting for that letter. He's coming to visit you in Bilbao.
Okay.
Sort of thing. So if you heard from, it means you've received a letter from. So there's heard of, heard about, and heard from. Well, we don't have time to do the typical mistakes this week, so we'll have to save the adverb problems for another episode. Next week we're talking about fame and the advantages and disadvantages of being famous, whether famous people are really happy. So tune in next week, everybody. Don't forget to leave a comment down below if you could, and share it with all your friends.
Like.
And click on the like thing, yes. And join us next week. Until then, goodbye.
Bye.